Alright guys, so this is Captain Alex Mason here, and I'm sorry about that. I had to readjust because we finally got some new information, again courtesy of Charlie Intel. First off, I want to mention that what do you call it? Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered will be available, or will be sold separately, and will be released on June 27th. Even though, like, months before they said this will never happen, and guess what? It did. So in other words, they basically swindled you out of your money again. Big surprise there. Thanks, Activision. Oh well. But I'm mainly here to talk about this, because this is the first thing that caught my attention when going back on this website, because, you know, I like to check for updates and stuff. So I know you guys can see it on the screen, but I'm going to read it out loud anyway. Sledgehammer talks about the usage of swastikas and female soldiers in Call of Duty World War II. It says, in an interview from E3 with Eurogamer, Sledgehammer Games' Michael Condrey talked about the usage of swastikas in the game and how female soldiers will play a role. As confirmed during the making of Call of Duty 3 or Call of Duty stream from E3, Sledgehammer is ensuring that the campaign is historically accurate and will include the swastikas in the campaign. The swastikas, however, will not be used in multiplayer or zombies. But then I said, and I wasn't actually there, but, you know, seeing as we don't actually know what the official name of the mode is, I'm going off of what they said at a stream, or what other people said they said at a stream, or what people asked them about when they were actually on that live stream. And that was if they were going to have like some form of a Nazi zombies mode. And they said, oh, well, we're having something called like similar to Nazi zombies mode, but the problem is you really can't call it that when there's absolutely no Nazi symbolism, regardless of how bad it is. It's not, you can't just slap a name on it and say, oh, that's Nazi something, but then you look, you're like, I don't see any Nazi symbols, or replacing it entirely with, let's say, for instance, you call yourselves the Knights Templars, but you have the Star of David on your shields, and you're like, that's not right. But because they called it that, it's okay. At least that's how I'm interpreting it. They said, and here's an actual quotes, the campaign in this game is about finding that line of quality entertainment with respect for the world's greatest conflict and the people who sacrificed and died. First of all, that's a weird way of saying that. You could have said who sacrificed themselves and died, but sacrifice what? It doesn't say. That's kind of weird how they would just say that in particular. I mean, that doesn't sound very grammatically correct. But I also feel like, well, you can't really quite say that either, because you kind of, in a way, whether you intentionally did it or not, you kind of insulted the people who actually did fight in the war. Just saying. We tell that narrative in a way we think honors the cause. Multiplayer is about bringing a community together that enjoys playing Call of Duty. It's faster, there's a brutality to World War II multiplayer that is different than the last few games we made, but we were able to make some creative liberties to make that an experience multiplayer fans really love. I wouldn't say all of them like it, though. I mean, it looks pretty, but the fact that you put in a character model for a certain armed force involved in the conflict who never allowed women to fight on the front lines can still be an issue, whether or not people even, I'm pretty sure that there are even some women out there who actually play this game who want it to be historically accurate, but it can't now because they put this in there. Again, I'm not saying I had any problem with it, but it has to be for a certain faction where it's appropriate, or a faction that actually allowed them to do it, like the Red Army or the Finnish, or any, like, if you were to have, like, even a non-recognizable military or militarized force, like, say, a resistance group. If you were to have a multiplayer faction as the French resistance, I would have no problem with it featuring a female character model. But the fact is that you put it in under the team called Allies, which mainly consists of U.S. Army personnel. U.S. Army didn't allow women to fight in the front lines. Just saying. So therefore, it can't be quite as historically accurate. So, and that's what bugs me the most. It's not that I'm not for change, but, 2017, regardless of what year it is, should not be an excuse to basically alter history. Whether it's, multiplayer experience or not. Because you didn't see that in Battlefield 1. You only saw them put in prototype weapons because there wasn't enough interesting weapons to, put in the game for you to use, because everything at the time was bolt action, and there was rarely any fully automatic weapons in World War I. Anyway, back to the article. Multiplayer is... Oh, wait, I read that. And Zombies gives us a tremendous amount of creative freedom. It also goes back to its roots of Nazi zombies. In quotes. Not like it is in quotes in the quote, but I'm saying that's in their quote. But with a Sledgehammer stamp and adrenaline-filled, gritty original story. Each of these modes has a different approach. Sledgehammer says that the decision is based on the fact that multiplayer and zombies is played by a global community, and restrictions apply in some regions, so swastikas will not be shown in these modes. And now another quote from one of their guys. But in our global community of multiplayer and zombies players, we've chosen deliberately not to include that. We want the community to play together. We want to be respectful of local customs and laws around the world. And frankly, it is a dark symbol with a lot of emotion behind it. If we don't feel matches our multiplayer experience. Okay, I just want to nitpick something. Excluding the word dark, we're going to start with symbol with a lot of emotion behind it. What other symbol in humans' history hasn't had any kind of emotion behind it? You have, again, the Star of David, the Christian cross, the crescent, or the Fertile Crescent moon. It's all moved by some religious aspect or some motive. But the thing is, he just says, oh, this symbol has yeah, of course it does. But, think about what it was used before the Nazis had it. In a way, that's, whether, again, you intentionally did it or not. I also want to go back to what they say, we want to be respectful of local customs and laws around the world. Now, I know in Germany, they've outright made it illegal to have any kind of media depict the swastika, which I think, personally, is pretty dumb, but I can understand why they did it, because, they've been picked on enough, they've lost 2 world wars, and whether it was their fault or not, a lot of people see them to blame, or as Germany to blame for both those world wars from starting, because, they did lose. And they were the big 4. Alright, I gotta stop here.